how do we relate, and what are we relating to? What initiated this expression was a brother. He's a doctor now. It was a photo that was taken of me, and I shared it, and he gave a name in which the photo gave him an idea of someone that whom he said that I personified or looked like. Key word is personified. And he's a brother that's pretty good at identifying certain things. I have said that I teach reverence, and I've also said that that everyone have need for self-expression, and the clothes that we wear, the cars that we drive, the places we live, and the people that we interact with, that was also shared, or I got in part some of that from another brother who teaches what is called spiritual principles. There was a term that was given to me by the name of Mwalimu, Swahili for teacher. And I've realized there is a term called anthropomorphic or anthropomorphism. So you can pronounce it the best way you can. But I realized that what I teach is not only reverence, but the reverence come into being when it comes to personified concepts. It says that personification occurs when a thing or abstraction is represented as a person in literature or art. Representative. Now, there is something going on about, I think, narrative therapy or something. And we look at figures in the past, however religious or otherwise, and these are just something that has been personified. It doesn't necessarily mean that they ever existed. It's just something that which we can attribute to, or something that is an attribute or a characteristic that we possibly see in ourselves. Now, they're saying that certain group of people, the ancients, when they're writing on the wall, they were saying, they pointed out something, and this is what you are to be. Because one thing I realized about images, it's called incongruics. Children learn in picture form becomes a meaning becomes emotion, then hopefully we will logically act on it. So images. When Alexander went to Egypt, he destroyed the image of a people, and when you destroy the image of a people, they will communicate that destruction. Personification. I've said that there is, as an expressioneer, you convert ideas into words into meaning, and meaning into a behavior. and emotion and action and activity. And certain groups study that, and they understand, they come up with a term called logic. Ology, the study of logic, the meaning, the definition of words from ideas, which comes from a thought. Reverence. For example, the wind howled in the night. The car complained as the key was roughly turned into ignition. That's why I say give to the gift of social literacy, man. We're suffering from SDLD. It's a larger society, a social disorder, learning disability. We're becoming socially illiterate, and because then we start to, when any negative images or traits that have been given, we seem to, in one's weak state intellectually, we gravitate to that negative image, and then therefore something that we can identify with that, but we identify with it, but we think it is real, it is so, when it's not, because then we see the sickness of the society in which we live. See, these ideas, it comes out of the minds of people. So how we relate to each other, we see images of people. If we look at what they call the 10 so-called commandments, some call it 42 negative confessions of ancient Kemet. That's fine, just condensed to 10. Now, we see the images of these people and how they look, what they are personified as, someone that is of a lighter hue, white, not black. And then the sick mindset, that one who come up with that, it empowers them. And it could weaken someone else, but it shows their weakness. It shows their weakness, and then therefore those who don't know that that's not the way the people look, then they start to identify with that. They physical features. I believe the Greeks identified with people from a geographical location by their physical features. I can't think of the term which is used. But how we relate to it. But then it's how we relate to their character, their role that they are playing. This one movie when this gentleman was acting, and they saw him in one role where he was like a very maybe upright person, and then they saw him in another role which he wasn't very upright. Very violent, and some children was crying, maybe crying to see how one person can play this role then play that role, and it's just because they could identify. They found relief, so to speak, identifying with one playing an upright role. Then the next time he was acting, he didn't play this role. So someone is playing on somebody's mind, and that's pretending. That's called pretentious. And that's why one should not pretend to love anyone. It's a role that you are playing, that you are acting out. So what we're relating to is the character, and I realized from another individual, it says that I realized that character is the outgrowth of one's humanity. Something was shared in regards with an individual who said that character is the material that has been given to us to build on our humanity. So now someone says about the 99 attributes of this creative force, and many more. There could be many more, but I know it takes 99. You got oxygen and nitrogen and whatever, something that makes the place, this atmosphere, habitable, where you can live in it. Yes. So with attributes, we're dealing with attributes. And when you give birth to a child, that child sees take on some of the characteristics of the one who gave birth to the child. And it's not by happenstance when the movie comes out and it says our feature presentation. Yeah, features, but our feature presentation. Yes, which means it's anthropomorphic. That's what they're telling you. Yeah, it does not necessarily mean that it is so, but it's a featured presentation. And in the society in which we live, it says no taxation without representation. It's tyranny, So now we get in the political arena, political field, and you want to identify with this party and that party and that party. I mean, it's like a misrepresentation. Yes. Yes. When it comes to the characteristics, and then we talk about laws. Laws are created by men, but not men of character. Yeah, so the human-like attributes. It is how we bond with each other. Now, if you look at it like, people can look at pets and see some human attributes, and then they bond with those attributes. Another form of anthropomorphism or anthropomorphic or homophoric, how we want to pronounce that word. But it is the imaging or the imagining, of the unseen being that has manifest itself, and then therefore it has possessed and taken on human features, and people call it God and call themselves gods. Anthropomorphism. Yes. It does not necessarily mean that these people ever existed, but we're trying to identify or bond with their character. Yes. While at the same time, we must become, as humans, people of character. And people of nobility, the noble traits. That is in us all. Now, I'm going to bring this to a close, so to speak. If we can distinguish now, discern and distinguish and decide when it comes to our decision-making process of the perverted, vulgar language and our behavior, and how a unhealthy, negative image is being put out there, and is perpetuating and promoting unhealthy bonds and unhealthy relationships with this negative behavior and unhealthy thinking. It really shows the misrepresentation, the misguidance of one's true nature, one's true character, one's true I don't necessarily I would just say one's true attribute of nobility, and how it has become very ignoble. It's associated with ignorant, and how we bond and relate to and with each other. Because if that which is oppressing humans, it's not so much the individual, it is ignorance. Until next time, talk to you.